Sheep.
Welcome to a Lama Live.
That's my line. Welcome to another edition of Lama Live. If you're new to these, we just sit in the car and kill the time with just general banter. I'd call it This Week in Lama, This Week in Bikes, This Week in Indoor Training, and just general banter. So Vaughn, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh, by the way, you can download these in MP3 as well. I link below, so rather than watch them and watch the scenery can be okay sometimes, but you can download these in MP3. Links below. So Vaughn, you good?
I'm great. I'm caffeinated. I'm wearing my Supergirl t-shirt today, so we're going to be super.
So we're off to the Ballarat Classic. We found some accommodation, which was hard to come by.
I had to hunt.
For us, according to others, it wasn't hard to, either way. We've got some accommodation, so we're up there for the ride. Hopefully the weather is as good as this. The sun's out, sheep are out, cows are out.
Get my guns out.
Get your guns out.
Yeah.
And we're on our bikes. So this week, Von rode to work. It was ride to work day. How far was your ride, Von?
My ride was supposed to be
Well, last year, how far was your ride to work?
10 Ks.
10 Ks. This year?
127. I couldn't pass up the opportunity. It was going to be like the most warmest October day that we've had in years.
Yep.
And a tail-ish wind to get to...
Ish winds are the best.
Ballarat to
headwinds.
Melbourne. So I found a mate, Jim. Thanks so much, Jim, for coming up with the route, who had ridden it several times before. It's been many years in a row that Jim has ridden from Ballarat to Melbourne in Victoria as his ride to work day. So we had fun. We had lots going on. Do you want to hear more about it?
So on the way to the start, though, I noticed you got a few comms in town.
I know! I was like, seriously, people in Ballarat, do you not upload your rides to Strava? What is the deal?
I think they're in a hurry. Were you late for the start?
No,
or?
not at all. Well, what I think is because at that time of day there was no traffic.
Tailwind.
No, and I got all the lights. I pretty much didn't stop
sure, okay.
through. It was great. Like, I had the best run, so maybe that was the killer. Yeah.
Good stuff. And there was one section of gravel.
No, three gravel.
Three gravel sections. So this is almost like this the new stage of the Tour de France next year that's called cobbles. So you're getting ready for it already.
No. Well, I had to up the ante from last year's ride to work. So.
Okay, and I heard there was a bit of hand of godding.
Oh. Yeah.
Now, hand of God, if you don't realise if you're not aware of what hand of God is, on a bike, if someone's struggling, you can just get up behind them and push them sort of not on the arse, on the hip bones, and just sort of give them a hand of God. And it is, even if it's just a small push, it's like, oh, that is so good. You just shoot forward. Yeah. So Von told me there's some hand of Godding going on. I'm like, oh, really? Were you struggling? It wasn't Von that was hand of Godding. You got Jim onto the back of a truck. You were drafting.
Yeah, well, we saw an opportunity to, during this bit that was just like a slight headwind, side head.
Right, not the ish wind, the headwind part.
Yeah, it was the ish wind.
The other, okay.
Yeah, the not so good wind.
Yep.
And we saw this truck travelling along in the emergency lane.
Yep.
While we're having a snack on the side of the road as a little stop point.
And it was going slow.
Yeah, something was wrong with it. So it was travelling in about 30 to 40 k's an hour in the emergency lane where everything else was going 100 kilometres an hour. So they were just barreling along. We're like, oh, good thing we're out of the lane so we don't get, wiped out by this truck.
Yeah.
And then as it gotten a little bit closer, I've gone, hey, Jim, how about we draft it? And it was probably too late for me to say that because it was pretty much just past us, but we were ready to roll. So we started rolling out, but my legs are a little bit tired by that time. And Jim had already gone up the road. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to catch him.
Now, Jim was on a commuter bike, so a touring bike.
No, he was on a touring bike. It was a belt-driven one.
Okay.
It was an amazing setup. I'd love to learn a bit more about them. And then, so he had taken off up the road, but he was at max speed by the time I caught up to him. And he's like, we're not going to make it. So I just, little bit of hand of God.
You gave the hand of God?
Yeah. Just to get it back on the truck. Because, it made all the difference. We had another few Ks to go into town where we needed to turn off, and we weren't having to sit in the headwind. We did get sandblasted.
I saw your photo. I'll put Von's photo up here, and Von's covered in dirt. It was like the end of Paris-Roubaix.
Oh, yeah.
But you made it to work.
Yeah.
But you missed the snags or the sausage. The sausage sizzle. So Ride to Work, they have food everywhere for people who ride into work, but you didn't quite get there on time. So you probably won Ride to Work Day for distance and effort. Yet everyone who rode the 10Ks got the
brunch.
Got the snags for the win. Good stuff.
So that was good fun.
Awesome.
No regrets.
No, and the weather's been really good too. So that was really nice. It's always the sun's now coming out here, so we're opposite to most people who watch and listen to the Lama stuff. Our summer's coming and it is beautiful. We're really looking forward to it. So we're looking forward to bringing that to everyone as well. While everyone's we had the opposite. While we were inside and it was raining this winter, we were watching what everyone else was doing overseas. So we're going to flip that on the head. Lots of riding coming up this summer.
Yeah.
So this week I had a guest post on DCRainmaker.com. That was a pretty proud moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool.
Big fan of Ray's work and have been for years. I don't even need to introduce DC Rainmaker's work. Everyone knows who it is. If not, links below to that article. I've been looking at this Strava data from a number of events over the last year, and it was started off by me looking at what head units people were using. I wanted to know, who's uploading with a Garmin or an Element or a this or a that. And I was diving into that data, but while I was there looking at that data, it's just easy to grab another little bit of data because it's 99% of the work's already done. And this has gone into, we're looking at heart rate monitor usage, power meter usage, average speed. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I can pull out some more stats. These just grew and grew and grew. And then I started looking at running events because running watches, this is the Forerunner 935. I use it as a smartwatch and a backup bike watch and walk watch and things, but I'm looking at running events and this has just grown, and I can now do swimming. Even though there's no swimming segments on Strava, well, there's not a lot of swimming segments on the Ironman courses. There's some, but not a lot. I can still have a look at that data and see what devices people are using, what speeds, there's a ton of stuff. So I can't remember who actually brought it up, but Ray and I sent a few emails here and there. Anyway, the idea came about that I grabbed the data from Kona, the Ironman World Championships, for the swim, bike, run, and we split it out. We deep dive into it, pull out some graphs, and put some commentary around it as well, because the data's there, it's one thing, but the information of what it is and why it is, really, really interesting. So polish that up. That was probably one of the longest ones. It took me a few days to grab the data and filter it out. Yeah. There's a lot of devices that record very interesting results.
But at the same point in time, it took a while for the data to come out.
Correct.
When I went up to Cairns and my mate Kat did the half Ironman up there.
Yep.
It took her a little bit of time to recover back to sanity.
Yeah.
To be even able to think that, I'd like to upload my data.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. Even the official results from Kona were a few days later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. I think that was the case. Somebody said, they came out on Monday, and it was run on the Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. Anyway, we had a look at the data. We got it up on DCRainmaker.com, and I thought it was going to be just a text post, because that's what Ray does. Big, long text post, dive into the details. But Ray's like, I'll do a talking head video like you normally do as well, because that's what I'm up to with my thing and the way I present it. So I did that on the data. Only a quick one for that though. That's our dinner. Awesome. Dinner's almost cooked. We've got it sorted, on our way. So, that post was received really well. Ray's got a massive readership base, and there's a lot of hardcore triathletes there.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Didn't completely hack you to pieces.
It's always a risk when you put something out there that people will attack it and have a go at it. But I mean, this is, as I said in the data here, or in the review, it is what it is. And if you yell at the data or get angry at the data, it's like yelling at the bridge we just went under. It doesn't talk back. It's just there. So the data was just there. It's our interpretations of why it's there is the next thing. Following up from that, somebody asked about shoes, because Lava magazine do they do the bike count, the official bike counts, and
so
the
they stand there and
in transition
tick through what everybody's got.
Somebody goes through and does the whole lot.
Oh, that's a bit invasive.
So that's what they have, and as I've said in the Ray article that I put up, DCR article, I look at what they do, heart rates and speeds and things, which is also kind of cool. Somebody asked about shoes. Well, Lava put up a shoe count. I'm like, that's interesting. They've gone and somebody's counted shoes. God, what a job that'd be. Times 2, because people have 2 shoes. Most people.
What? Oh, bike shoes versus run shoes.
No, 2 feet. Anyhow.
You got me.
So I ran my data through that as well, and it was very, very close. We only had 186 data points though from the runners, because this requires people to upload and type in their shoe type, sort of because it's not an automatically tracked thing on Strava.
Oh, so like I call my bike Tara the Tarmac in Strava.
Yep.
And then people put their shoe name in the field for what shoes they're running in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Runners, well, Ironman, triathletes, and just pure runners will list their shoe brand, the type of shoe, and then it tracks the kilometres next to it as well. So you can see how many Ks you put on your shoes.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's
wow.
but it's a manual process. It's like the bike. If you want to change your chain on your bike, you can track that with Strava. That's kind of cool, but it requires manual input. And as soon as you're starting like requiring humans to do something, the margin of error just blows out. Whereas when you're uploading from a Garmin, it's always the Garmin. It just says that you don't have to touch that at all. So who knows? So there's not a lot of data there for the run leg of Kona, but it was enough to match the actual, well, very, very close to what was out there for the shoe count. So whilst I had that data, it was just one single command to run across all my other data. And we've got Boston Marathon, London Marathon, Chicago Marathon, Berlin, I think was the other week.
Yeah.
So we've got all the shoe data from that. Now for me, shoe data's not that interesting. Some of the brands I've never heard of. I'm wearing a pair of Asics at the moment. They showed up on the list. It's about as far as I know. So if anybody's interested in shoe data, there's a lot of shoe geeks out there.
Really?
Let me know. Shoot me an email. I've got a ton of data, and we can look at future data for now. It's kind of cool. But we didn't include that for the Kona one because I hadn't done that quite yet. But it's there.
After. Yeah.
It happened after. I've linked over on Slowtwitch to that. Somebody asked about shoe data on there. Kind of cool, but just the metrics, and even it was really good to collaborate with Ray on this one because Ray said, "Oh, can you give me this graph of showing this?" And I hadn't even thought of that. I was doing pace distributions of run and swim, but not on bike.
Yeah.
I was just doing average kilometers per hour. But you can even do a pace. Of course, you can do a pace distribution. I've never thought of that though.
That's cool.
So we've got it's cool. I get so stuck down the rabbit hole of that, and in the comments of the article over on DCR, somebody said, have you looked at the actual data from Kona and see how that correlates? I didn't even look at the official results. Didn't even look. This was all straight from Strava, so pretty cool. Speaking of Strava, this week the new Strava layout. Oh, it's a can of worms. Whoa, don't touch people's feeds.
So did it also update the mobile app?
I believe there's a few little updates in the mobile app. So what happened is on Strava, the main screen, from what I can tell, only the main screen that you load up, the order in which things are shown a change. It's gone from chronological, so 7 a.m., 8 a.m., just scrolling as you normally would, into, hey, this person has an interesting ride, getting a lot of kudos, that one floats to the top.
Oh, like what Facebook did a few years ago.
It's a Facebook, and the backlash from that, but it all died down later on, no one really cared. And then Twitter have done that, Instas, everyone's done that. Strava is a social platform. A lot of people are saying so my take on it, it's not too bad. I don't spend a lot of time on my main screen feeds. Most of mine's coding in the background and looking at what's coming out in that respect, not the main screen. But I still like to see that, you rode here, went the Slane rode there, and somebody else rode here.
If you upload a couple of days later, it should then pop up into people's feeds rather than back in the old timeline mode, because it would have been in past history.
Who knows?
So stuff like that maybe makes it a little bit more relevant.
It's now the algorithm.
Yeah.
It's now the algorithm.
Yeah.
Every company they call it the AI. Some companies call it, the algorithm.
Okay.
People call it whatever. We've got a lot more to say about algorithms shortly. Yeah, so for me, a bit of a meh. I'm amazed at how much energy people have to complain about it, though. What a privileged time we live in. If the Strava feed, and people have started a change.org petition.
Oh my God, go out and do a workout and upload it to Strava, people.
Crikey. Well, there you go. There you go. Go and do a workout and name every one of your rides. Change it back, or hashtag change it back. I'm not sure. Protest on. Have a sit-in. But if people are that passionate about Strava, that's a good thing.
I hope they're premium members, put it that way.
I bet they won't be. I am. I support what they... I'm given the amount of data that I pull out and the amount of time I spend on it. I pay for premium. I like the service. Am I passionate enough to raise a support ticket though? No, not yet. It hasn't annoyed me, though one of Ron's rides did pop up in the wrong order. But it was just that's interesting. That wasn't how it was. I think about as far as I go.
That's because I had a Garmin update and I couldn't upload any of my rides for a day and a half. So I had to resync my Bluetooth from my phone to my head unit so it would re-upload.
The pain. The pain.
There was swears.
I could hear it from the other room. And that was the day after I did the video on the 520. I pulled a 520 out of the box. It had a firmware 18 months old. My theory is that anything sitting on the shelf should have a shelf life and should be pulled back to Strava, or motorbike gang. Should be pulled back to Garmin for a refresh of the firmware, because the last thing they want to do from a support perspective is have people pull out an old device, pair it all up, and encounter these bugs that'll be squashed with new firmware. No, they should have a shelf life. Well, I bought something that was 18 months old. I'm not in for that. No, I don't like that.
That's like saying you need to recall them.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, works for eggs. Bread.
What? They recall them.
No, but they take them off the shelf after a few days. They go stale. This firmware is stale. It stunk. We've had Anyhow, that's my take on that thing. So always update you, but not only because you're not. What I want to do is plug it in straight away and update. People were saying just plug it in, pair to your phone and do the update that way. No, that requires things to be set up almost completely. I just wanted to plug it in before I set it all up. Well, as you said with your firmware, it blew away your Bluetooth connections. That was a friendly truck.
Yeah.
Anyhow, fun times. So speaking of Strava uploads, a lot more outdoor rides happening for me. Well, obviously the sun's out, so that's been great. We've found a really cool little loop. I call it the minimal steering loop.
I call it the 40k smasher.
40k smash fest, because from home now we can go 10k's this way, 10k's this way, 10k's this way, and 10k's on a bit of an angle, but it's minimal. You need to turn the bike.
Okay, it's 42k's.
4 times. It's a minimal steering loop, but it's a commitment loop. Once you're halfway, you've got to go halfway back. There's no shortcuts and no cutouts, and you can sort of chase the wind around. It's got a nice shoulder on the road. It's country roads. I love it. There's sheep. There's a llama.
There is a llama.
There's a llama.
Loop.
It's an alpaca they use to protect the sheep. I think the lambs are getting a bit old though this year, so they're fine. They can look after themselves. But it's a nice little loop. So if you see that on Strava, called the minimal steering loop, we can do it both forward and reverse. The headset hasn't seized up yet from all my Zwift sessions.
Oh, one thing that did seize up for me this week. During my ride from Ballarat to Melbourne, for some reason, maybe 30k's in, I couldn't move into the big ring.
You were stuck in the small dog?
Yep.
Stuck in the small dog?
Yep, I was stuck, and which was okay, because it was pretty windy, so we were just ticking along
anyway.
Section, yeah. So for the remainder of the 90k's or whatever, I did that in the small ring.
So Yvonne brings the bike home. I was in Melbourne that day finalising us leaving Melbourne. Put the bike on the roof, drove home.
Yeah.
Beautiful night, beautiful evening. And then, was it the next day,
It was the next day. I couldn't even...
You said, look, check this out for me, Shane, on the bike. I mean, I just tried to change the gear levers and change up into the big ring. It was really hard to push up. But
it was like it was almost going to catch, and then it wouldn't pick it up entirely into the big ring.
So given Von's bike has to work fine, well, perfectly for this weekend...
Yeah.
It was 8 o'clock at night, I think.
Yeah, you mechanicked it.
Time. Oh, I just finished his Zwift session. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to wind down for the day. Von brings the bike in and goes, can you look at this? I'm like, yeah, we'll have a quick look. Internal routed cabling on a bike. We use mechanical. We're not Di2 just yet. Can't justify it yet. This may push me over the edge though.
Yeah.
So I had a look at it. We pulled the cable out and have a look at this. I like post-editing videos. I can actually include extra stuff. Like
That's awesome.
The frayed cable. Look at that. So what happens with Shimano, it sort of bends around and on a really acute angle. And after a while, that will always break.
Yeah.
So you've got to change, depending on how many gear changes you go through, but you need to change cables. I'd probably say every 6 months is a good thing. 12 months, definitely.
Yeah, it might have been about 12 months
That
since
one
we
was
did my rear.
That was
but
totally
that was the front
shagged.
one.
Yeah, that was totally shagged.
But I think part of the reason why things weren't so good was because we had been through a lot of gravel and dirt, and it had gunked up the cable routing through the rear of the bike,
Okay, so
which is
more
maybe
friction.
a design flaw for the tarmac, where it goes through the rear of the frame only through this plastic little sleeve, and then when you needed to move, like the whole sleeve got stuck in the bike around the wire.
Yes.
Therefore, it put extra pressure on that cable right up near the bend that you're just talking about.
Spot on.
And that's where it's frayed.
Spot on. That's why she's my wife. But I've still got to fix it. So we routed the cable there with the use of, I think, a few magnets and a few the bike lights and a few sweat. We got it done perfectly. It works just fine.
Yeah,
so that's all good.
Thank you so much.
All sorted. What else is coming up this week on Zwift? If you're part of the Zwift community, which I know a lot of people are, and if you're not, your mates are, so jump on board.
And tell them about this.
There's a new road coming. Now, new roads cause an absolute rumble on the Zwift forums.
Can't wait.
When's this new road coming out?
Where is it going to be?
It's happened a few times. There's been new maps come out. There's been new, like we had London, we had Richmond, well, 2 years ago.
That's a whole new level. So then we had the bump out at London where they added extra roads just recently.
Yeah, which actually rode over in London. That was pretty cool. That gave
Yeah.
it some context for me. It's still London though. I'm not that great of a fan of the course. But
I love the volcano loop.
the volcano expansion, people are like, oh my God, this is... The community really, really get behind and really want it. So we're meant, what's the time? It's now 6 p.m. on Friday the 20th. It was going, the rumor was it was going to drop today. And usually when we get in the car and we're away from the bikes is usually when new things drop. We have pulled over before and swapped drivers because I was driving. A new update has come out to Zwift for a new road. I've swapped over and I've done a video post on it from the... Yeah, we get obsessed by it. But again, it just goes to show people love a new experience, the open roads, and I reckon, so short story, the update hasn't dropped.
It's not here.
It's not here. Zwift, where are you? No, that's not the update. I'm getting smartwatch updates here for other things, but it's not going to rain tomorrow, but there's no updates. I think what they need to do, what appears to happen with Zwift for these updates, they come out when they're ready. That's it.
Well, they said October. Is it October yet?
I don't know why the rumour was this weekend. What year somebody's also. People get really passionate about it.
Yeah.
They need to harness this. Here's what I'd like to see them do. Because in the past what we've seen is code just drops and new things just drop and the community just finds it. But the average Joe, the average John Hampton Jr., your standard rider, your average rider, doesn't know where to turn, how to turn. Like, they won't find these new roads. I think they need a launch party. Have the course ready, sit on it for a day or two, have a launch party at, say, Zwift headquarters or at a bike store somewhere global. They can live stream it, and half an hour after this new course drops, have a group ride starting that goes over the new course.
So why half an hour?
Because it takes half an hour to update Australian internet. We know that. So, though our new internet is brilliant. I
love our new internet.
I shall never talk about bad internet again.
I love it.
By the way, for the techies watching, we get 95 meg down and we get 37 meg up. Just after we moved out of our old place, I was at 7 down and 0.8 up. So you can understand life is good with the NBN when it works. And it's working. So I think they have a launch party for these new courses and cut the ribbon, open the new course, get people to ride it as a community, as a group, and have a big fanfare about it. Question. Group workout mode came out a couple of weeks back. Mm-hmm. It's in beta. Would you get up in the middle of the night and ride a group workout because it's new?
I haven't ridden a group workout yet, so no.
Okay, it's a no.
No.
Zwift Academy. It's been launched. We've finished stage 1 of Zwift Academy. Graduation has been, I think, about half the women graduated and about 10% of the men graduated. So a lot of people signed up.
Come on, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of people signed up for it and started the journey but didn't follow all the way through. So, Vaughn, would you get out of bed in the middle of the night to do a new Zwift Academy workout?
I did consider it.
Oh, close.
For some of them, because you had to try and fit as many rides in for, to be...
to hit the goals?
To be eligible, but I couldn't get up, so I didn't.
Now, okay, so that's two from two was a no.
Yeah,
If Zwift brought out a new road and had a launch party, and how else can I talk this up in the positive? Something
I would stay up later.
Yeah.
Say, put it that way. So I would stay up later. I probably wouldn't get up early.
Yeah.
I would stay up later to ride new roads.
to have that new experience.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say it's too late. Would you watch a live stream of that?
So yeah, I'd lie in bed and watch someone else ride a bike.
And watch someone else ride and talk about what they see. Say Nathan on Zwift Community Live.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan, the voice of Zwift, on Zwift Community Live. If he was to talk people through it, I'd watch that live stream. If not, I think this really shows, and this is what the feedback we get in the community. I'm in quite a few Zwift forums and quite a few online bike. You know where I'm at. I get a lot of the vibe is huge around these new roads, and I think it's because it impacts everybody. It gives everybody that chance for that new experience. Group workouts for me, not quite my thing. ERG mode. Me and ERG mode don't see eye to eye a lot. To be told to do 400 watts, I'd rather do between 380 and 420, depending on how I'm feeling. I need ERG mode to give me a spread, not a do this number or get off your bike kind of attitude. ERG mode has attitude. I don't like ERG mode for that reason. I think, so group workout modes don't get me excited. Not a lot of other people get excited either. Zwift Academy has its place. A good percentage of people signed up for it, but a new road, a new experience, maybe a new training experience through new road, I don't know, it just works so well. Anyhow, I think they have launch parties, they have group rides and group events on that launch party day, have 3 separate organised rides on that day because the world turns and there's 8 hours sort of different markets, so have one for the US, Australia, Asia, Europe, so we get the 3 markets covered.
4.
Okay, Tasmania. So new Zwift Road, it's 6 minutes past 6 on a Friday night, still hasn't dropped. Coming soon to an update near you. If you're on Zwift Oz, we usually bang out an update pretty quick when they drop to let everyone know to update that and get excited and go out and ride those new roads.
Notification that you'll be delayed before your next ride.
Possibly. If you're on NBN, you're fine. So speaking of new releases, this week Sufferfest came out with 4DP, a new definition or a revised definition, I guess. It's not really breaking new grounds, but it's just a different way of looking at FTP. 4D, 4 dimensions, I guess you call it. So different power zones. You power it, I think it's 20 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minute, 20 minute, and mapping how you respond to those different zones and durations on the bike and your ability to generate power. We won't go too deep into it, but it's a new way of looking at training, prescribing things for you rather than just your FTP defining you. Rather have FTP on the top of your head and that's your number.
Looks at your range of, I was going to say range of motion, but your ability at different time buckets. Yep.
So really cool. Now I've always thought workout mode needs a revolution, especially in Zwift. FTP, it's a tough one. My FTP's never really been that great, but certain power zones that I've had for the events that I've done have been pretty damn good for what I've been able to put out for myself compared to my FTP. Is that the easy way to say it? It's a tough one. It's a complex subject.
You've always been able to say that your FTP doesn't define you.
Correct. Yeah. And this is, and that's what a lot of other people find as well. If you're familiar with ERG mode, this is why I hate ERG mode, because my FTP is defined in a certain area that sucks for different power zones. And if your FTP is one number and everything else is prescribed from that. So this sort of takes that and just establishes it a little bit more. Look, this is not a new concept. It's been around for a while. There have been 8 zones being defined previously. There's other people doing a lot of good work in this field, but Sufferfest have grabbed it, they've run with it, they've executed on it.
Okay.
And in this market, this day and age, you have to. There's a lot of companies out there doing indoor training or workouts and things like that. You've got to do something different. So it's good to see them execute on this. There's an interesting thread over on Slowtwitch this week as well. And all I'll say on that is choose your heroes, be prepared to change them.
And bring popcorn.
The internet gives people a lot of rope to hang themselves, and unfortunately, some of the comments over there, this is nothing on Sufferfest. Sufferfest have held themselves really well on this, and all credit to David and the crew on that. There's a few other parties involved in the discussions. There's a loose cannon that's gone. I'll link below to that. I didn't want to give this any airtime on Twitter or anything. Just, as I said, choose your heroes wisely. be prepared to change them often, and enjoy the bike and enjoy what you do on it and enjoy sharing that, because cycling as a community are very small, very, very small. Happy days. Speaking of erg mode, Von and I were shooting the breeze the other day, but I hate erg. Does anyone like erg mode? Let me know below. Again, because it works around that one number. In a nutshell, erg mode makes you hold the watts on your trainer for that specific duration, or don't even bother. So if my FTP was say 360 and I wanted to do 360 for 5 minutes, it says your trainer makes you do 360 watts for 5 minutes, or get off, go home.
Or spiral of death.
Correct. That's why she's my wife. And spiral of death, you grind to a halt because you can't put out that number.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to have erg mode, and that'll oscillate a little bit as well, so it'll be 365, 355, because that's just what happens with erg mode and technology and trainers. So I don't like that aspect of it, because
trying to hit that finite number.
I want a gap. I want that to be between 350 and 370 on a good day. Now, you may say there's an option there to turn it up 10% and turn it down 10%, but it turns it down 10% and then you hit that, or you get off your bike, or spiral death. It's not good enough. I'd love a range where it just hovers, but if I'm having a good day, I get the upper range and it knows. Or if I have a bad day, I can bring that back down to say 350 and hold that number. It doesn't punish me for trying to do a workout. Erg mode, if you've ever been punished by erg mode and failed a workout because you tried to do it, that's not a good experience. It's not the fun experience. We talked about before, the good new roads are a good experience. That's why people love new roads and new experiences. You're not punished.
Yeah.
And you're not, it needs, and I think this is
so where... So when you were talking about power zones before, where... there's different theories on what zones you would have for your power zones, whether there's 5 or 7 or whatever.
Yep.
If they say to sit in zone 3 of your power, it would be between power range, say 200 to 250.
Yes.
So when you're training in that zone on the erg, that it would be great in erg mode if it kept you within that zone.
That would be beautiful.
Right, okay, I'm with you.
That's what happens in sim mode. So
when you're just riding around?
When you're just riding along, you can choose to put yourself in those modes. So
but you choose.
Exactly right, exactly right. But it'd be nice to have a combination of the two. So
I'm riding along at 100 watts.
Yep.
And then the workout says go into zone 2.
Yep. So it boosts
it'll
you
boost
to
you
at least to
200 to 250.
Yep.
And if I want to go a bit harder, it'll let me. But if I try and hit into 300, it should back it off a little bit.
That would be
so that I can only top it out at 250, and then But if I drop below 200, it's going to bring it up a little bit, and I can play within that range.
Spot on. Wouldn't that be brilliant? I call that enhanced erg mode. I'm not going to patent that. Somebody please implement enhanced erg mode, because it stops it removes the attitude from erg mode.
Super erg. I don't know.
Super erg.
I don't know what we're going to call it.
If anyone's got a creative name for enhanced erg mode, let me know. But if not, I'll pack up my bags and get out of here from erg mode. It's not the punisher that erg mode is. So zone-based erg mode. Your thoughts below. I'm all for it. I don't know how to implement it. This is not the problem we're trying to solve. It's the idea and the concept. That's what I'd like to see. But things like that, that's what I want to see. And that'll allow people to have a more specific experience rather than a do the number and get out. And anyhow.
What were you saying the other day about slope mode?
Slope mode will be almost the same. So if you could say prescribe a 5-minute zone up a 5% hill and have everyone do that. At the moment, the group workout modes for Zwift puts you in erg mode, and if you don't hold that one single number, get out of the bunch. I don't want to go for it.
It drops you out of the group.
Yeah. Oh well, if you can't hold erg mode, you're failing erg mode. In erg mode, you fail the workout. With group workouts, it keeps everyone together, so you can smash it off the front and still be in the same group, or you can just drop off the back a little bit, depending. Like your zones don't.
Because you're doing zone blah versus me doing zone blah.
No, zones, very different. We're doing single numbers. Remember, this is erg mode. This is standard erg mode, not enhanced erg mode.
What?
Yeah, so that
I need to see this. I need to try group workout
for the new user who wants to come along and have that experience. It's going to be horrible. Anyway, enough on erg mode. Yeah. ERG. So YouTube fans may have seen a video this week by Casey Neistat regarding demonetization of his videos. Now, Casey is one of the #1 YouTubers, uploaders to YouTube. He's a vlogger. I don't see myself as a vlogger. I kind of make videos with a bit of information in them. So Casey's a vlogger, day to day, what's going on, millions and millions of views. YouTube are choosing not to monetize his videos using an algorithm. Ray has had the same issues as well, and I've encountered that. So what happens, a bit of background, if you upload something to YouTube, they can deem it inappropriate for advertisers. If it's hate speech, if there's racism, if it's inappropriate for advertisers, I think fair enough. You can't have people coming on ranting about a certain topic and swearing their head off and have Coca-Cola put up an ad. They won't like that. It caused a massive outcry earlier in this year, which punished all users of YouTube. So what's happening, how it's affecting this channel, is that I'm putting up tech videos and YouTube's algorithm is flagging them, same as Ray, saying that this isn't appropriate for monetization or isn't appropriate for advertisers, and they choose to pull that. Now, you've got to file a manual dispute, and there's no notification that that's actually taken place on any of your videos. You just happen to stumble across that taking place. So
when you say pull it, they're not taking down your content.
They're not taking it down, but they're taking away the monetization of it. So
but that's only like $2, or like it's not like it's a big amount of money.
If you're getting a few thousand hits, you'll get 20, 30...
So Casey Neistat with his millions of followers.
He's in his thousands of... Casey's,
right,
he'll be $3,000 or $4,000, $10,000 per video, so that's a big effect. On a smaller scale for this channel, I'm up to about a coffee or maybe a lunch or a breakfast a day on YouTube, which is kind of nice. It's you put in hours and hours and hours of work and you get a few dollars. That's. I said last year about my video on 6 months on YouTube. That YouTube is a dark cloud that you have no contact with. They can choose to pull the pin anytime. They've done that.
Change the rules or anything.
Absolutely, they've done that. So what will happen is, and it can happen at any random time, my video on firmware updates, which is probably a good video for either Garmin, maybe even Wahoo to put an ad up in between. YouTube have said, no, it's inappropriate for advertisers. I then have to go and manually file a manual dispute, which has to be manually looked at, and it gets cleared. Every one of my videos is being cleared. Every one of Casey's videos, I believe, except his video on...
charity,
raising money for charity, and YouTube don't believe in raising money any. So what goes on behind the scenes to bring you this channel is a lot of work. If you're looking at getting into content creation, be prepared to defend your content.
I'd love to. Really good way to put it.
I'd love to be able to just make my videos, put a little thumbnail, a description, and just reply to the comments. I enjoy replying to the comments and leveling everybody up, because it also levels me up as well with the comments and people thinking from outside the square. But then when YouTube come along with a sledgehammer and take my coffee away that I drink whilst replying to everyone, YouTube are the ERG mode of the internet. Some people like them, not everyone likes what they stand for.
Yeah, it's a good thing you don't depend on it.
No, absolutely right. So it's, it's an interesting one. Anyway, just be aware of that. So if you've seen other YouTubers talk about demonetization, it's affecting everyone. I don't know, they can only get away with it because there's no other real alternatives to YouTube at this point in time. Let's see how that changes soon.
So, what's coming up next week?
Well, we've got to get through this ride first. We've signed up for the 160k. I think we'll get through the 120k, and
if we're lucky.
And the extra 40k's you have to do is an out and back loop. I think we'll get to town and
have a coffee.
that might be about it. So we'll knock out this ride. I've got another couple of trainers to unbox this week.
Oh, good.
Nothing brand new, but still worth covering because a lot of people are looking at what trainer to buy for the upcoming or the current trainer season in the Northern Hemisphere. Other than that, just ticking along on the other channels. Always something going up on Instagram nearly daily. Strava, if you can put up with the new feed. So keep an eye out on all of those. Okay, we'll leave it there today. Von, thanks for coming along. Thanks for driving, Von.
All good.
And
we'll keep on trucking here.
We will. Trucks up food all the way. We've got another 7 or 8 hours in the car this way tomorrow. We haven't even thought of coming back the other way just yet. You may have to come for another Lama Live for us with that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's good to have a chat with everybody to kill some time. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.